Hello and welcome to Let's Talk SEO. So we always say that Google's search is declining in quality. Some people like to believe that quality of search that SEO improve. I like to think otherwise. And I show countless examples of really low quality websites ranking on Google. Even though I do SEO for a living, I own a lot of my own websites. Uh, I've kind of come to the conclusion that Google does not really care about whether you basically living after a website, whether your website is of super high quality, whether your content is original. Google doesn't care about any of that. And the reason for that is that if it does not make money for Google, Google doesn't care about it. And so what makes money for Google is major websites, is websites that are aligned towards really highly competitive, highly engaging search queries as compared to someone just searching for how to clean my gaming desk, which could be a very lucrative search query for Google. I've not done the research. And so if it is, Google will probably take a different approach to that query as compared to something that's a little more mundane and for which the cost per click is really low. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. So this article was called "The Man Who Killed Google Search," and there's a link to this article in the description. It goes into exactly how Google killed its own search engine, and it's not exactly killed. Google is still holds the largest market share in search. There are a lot of people that use by default Google on their Android phones, and they're also using it on their iPhone. And so Google has these partnerships where anything you search for goes through Google. And so it's not an easy to kill giant. But what's alarming is the fact that Google's search has taken the backseat to Google's ads. And so now Google search plays second fiddle to Google's ads. And so as Google ads wants to make more money, Google search has to be tweaked so that Google ads can make more money. And this is the gist really of the article over here. The link to it in the description. This is a pretty long article. I'm not going to go into the whole article because it goes into a lot of personal stuff about Google employees, like first I've tried. The story here is about Google's Code Yellow. And Code Yellow, in a nutshell, is Google Code Red, for instance. So it's equivalent to a Code Red. And it's usually when the financial department, which is, let's say, Google Ads or AdWords, as it needs to be called, has a problem. And the problem usually is it's not meeting its target. And yes, Google Ads has a target, and it needs to meet those targets. And so if Google Ads is not meeting those targets, then there is a problem, and they then need to get down and discuss that problem with Google Search and see that if there's something that they could be with Google Search that will increase clicks and increase engagement on Google Search so that they can make more money. And so primarily what happened here, so the main person here, the person that's been responsible for search since 1999 is Ben Goes. And he was a head of search. He was a head of search, and then there's a Jerry Dishler, who was then the VP and general manager of ads at Google. And there's a Shiv Venkatarama, the VP of engineering of search ads and Google properties. And so they called a Code Yellow due to, and I quote right here, this sort of screenshot of this quote on screen. It says, steady weakness in daily numbers and a likeliness that it would end the order significantly behind, which means that they're not gonna make, they're not gonna hit their target as things move the way they are for Google Ads. Okay, so in emails that was part of the Department of Justice antitrust case against Google, Dishler laid out several contributing factors. Search query growth was significantly behind forecast. The timing of revenue launches was significantly behind and a vague worry that several advertiser-specific and sector weaknesses existed in search. In other words, people were not searching as much, and there were not as many search queries on Google, which means that there were fewer clicks on ads, there were fewer views on ads. So that's obviously seen as a problem, because that's how Google monetizes. Anyway, a few days beforehand, on February 1st, 2019, Kristen Gill, the then Google VP Business Finance Officer, had emailed Sashi Thakur, then Google's VP of Engineering, Search and Discover, saying that ads had been considering a code yellow, and I explained what code yellow is, to close the search tab. It was saying this vaguely referring to how critical that growth was to an unnamed company flag. To be clear, the email was a response to Thakur stating there is nothing that the search team could do to operate at the fidelity of growth that ads had demanded, which means that, the ads were saying that we need to grow harder, and search was saying no. So there's no way of doing it organically, or at least the way a search is set up right now, which is mainly focused on quality and not so much on quantity. So Sashi forwarded an email to Gomes, who is head of search, asking if there was any way to discuss it with Sundar Pichai, Google CEO, and declaring that there was no way he'd sign up to a high-fidelity business metric for daily active users and search. Thakur also said something that I've been talking about consistently since these emails, that there was no good reason that Google founders separated search from ads. Well, there was a reason for that, and the reason for separating search from ads was mainly they wanted the search team to focus on quality and delivering high-quality results, because then that would automatically drive ad growth. And the ads team would be focused on improving the ads platform, making the experience better, and gathering data so that advertisers will not have a problem with advertising, and they would find that advertising was a lot more lucrative on Google and a lot more transparent on Google than any other platform. So that's mainly why they were both separated initially. So in goals with back to the multi-killer quest for growth, Fox added that all three of them were responsible for search, that search was the revenue engine of the Google, of the company, and that bartering with the ads and finance team was potentially the new way, or the new reality of their job, which means that now, in order to run search, they have to make sure that it's aligned with Google Ads targets and what Google Ads need. And so that separation that initially was put there by the founders of Google now had to be taken down so that more money could be made, even if it, as we will see, at the risk of falling results. Right. And so Prabhakar Rangwahan, the then Google head of ad and the true mastermind behind the code yellow, is currently saying that the current revenue targets were addressed by heroic RPM engineering. RPM is a measure of how well ads are doing, and so it's a rates per milli, and so the higher the rate per milli is, the more advertisers pay, and so by engineering the rate per milli, they help Google make more money. A very collective way of saying that despite these changes, query growth wasn't happening. So the queries were not growing, but they were increasing the rate per million, perhaps. A day later, Gomes emailed Fox and Thakur an email he intended to send to Bhagwan. Okay. So he led by saying he was annoyed both personally and behalf of the search team. In a long email, he explained how worldwide increased engagement with Google search, but specifically gathered that they could increase queries quite easily in the short term in a user-negative ways, like turning off spell correction, turning off ranking improvements, or placing refinements, effective labels all over the page, adding that it was possible that there are trade-offs here between different kinds of user negativity caused by engagement hacking. As that, he was deeply uncomfortable with it, so he was not comfortable with making more money at the expense of users having a negative experience. He also added here He also added that this was the reason he didn't believe that queries were a good metric to measure search, and that the best defense about the weakness of queries was to create compelling user experiences that make users want to come back. And so, in other words, why are we trying to deceive users to retain them when we can work on giving them a better experience to retain them? And by users, Google doesn't just mean that people going on Google search and searching, but there are also people that are ranking their sites. Business owners, forums would be a user. My class would be users. I would be a new, because essentially a user is also someone that maybe has a website, and they're ranked. And so by so-called growth hacking or the manipulation, they're effectively making it so, or they're effectively influencing the experience that people have on their search, which is often going to be a negative experience. So during the March 2019 for update to search, it happened about a week before the end of the Code Yellow was expected to be one of the largest updates to search for a really long time. And this was something that Full had flashed to brace for, because we were expecting this to be a huge update. Yet when it launched, many found that the update mostly rolled back changes, and traffic was increasing to sites that had previously been suppressed by Google searches and the update back on 2012. That specifically targets spammy search results, as those hit by an update from Google, as well as those hit by an update of August 2018, a few months after Google's became head of search. So what happened with the 2019 update was they not only brought back to life websites that were penalized by the previous Panda update a few years ago in 2012, which is a major update in a lot of my own websites for it. But then what they also did was they also brought back a lot of spammy websites that were hit by the August 2018 update, which is what was kind of like the August 2018 update was kind of like a correction. As so more websites were hit, not many recovered, and so those were hit too. But more websites were hit in 2018, but then all of those websites came back to life in 2019. And the reasoning for that, and this is something that is personal, is that a lot of those websites were originally hit by the Panda update were not necessarily spammy. A lot of my old websites that were hit were not spammy. My websites never came back, by the way. And so I can't say for sure that if this is the correct statement, but a lot of the sites that were hit by the Panda update were not spammy. So the practices they were engaging in, rank those sites where text would be labeled as spammy, but overall the websites themselves were not necessarily spammy. So while I'm guessing the timing of the March 2019 V4 update, along with the traffic increase of previous sites suppressed, evidence that the Google response to Code Yellow was to roll back changes that were made to maintain the quality of search results. And so, yes, so the one thing that did happen that was the quality of search results improved, and by rolling back things and or not improved. So they'll roll back to what things were in 2012. Then what they did, which was not surprising, was they then removed the green line that separated Google Ads from regular search or organic search, and the bright green line we always saw on mobile. And they removed that, and they just put a small ad icon. And they did that first for mobile ads in 2019, and then in 2020, they did that for desktop ads. And now it's practically indistinguishable. So if you're just someone who's searching, unless you're looking very closely, you can't tell if this is an ad, or if this is an organic search. Someone searches a lot can tell the difference. Look very closely, you can tell the difference. Also, a lot of the top results onto the free, usually, you would expect that there would be ads. So what Google essentially did was hack engagement. And so by doing that, it would trick people, in other words, to click on the advertising and visit their websites. And so, as you know, the they click, Google makes money. The more expensive the click, the more money Google makes. So 5 months later, or a year after the click, Google would make So yeah, so everyone after they got a promotion, the article goes into stating that who goes into revealing who these people were. Sundar Pichai was McKinsey consultant, and we all know what McKinsey did and what his consultants are usually brought in to do. So we usually do outsource and downsize businesses, and that's what we're seeing with Google. What we're also seeing with Google that is a lot of the stuff that they had originally canalized will improve the quality of search is also being rolled back, even as of present. And so when a lot of my clients come to me to say, you know, if the tactics you're using, we're not sure if this is a great tactic. The thing is, I never experiment with my client's website, so I'm not using an experimental SEO tactic to rank them. But a lot of the tactics I use are engagement, are signals that Google uses to rank websites. And so if you tick all the boxes when it comes to those signals, you will rank the website. The problem is that Google tweaks those signals a great deal. And so a lot of people, so Google likes to say, backlinks don't matter anymore. The fact is that backlinks still matter, maybe not as much as they did back in 2018, but they still matter. And by decreasing their reliance on backlinks, they've increased their reliance on other ranking signals. And so if you can get more of those ranking signals, you'll still rank. Again, you have to tick all the boxes and you have to fine tune everything. And that is where testing and more testing comes in. And that is why when I do these tests, I make videos on some of this stuff, but I can't make videos on every test that I do. But if you're into SEO, you should be doing this test or running these tests instead of relying on Google to tell you what you should do. Hope you guys like the video. Like and subscribe, guys. Let me know in the comment below what you think of Google was trying to make more money by hacking engagement. And I will see you guys in the next video.